Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today is another trying to fix video, and in this video we're going to be trying to fix this. Do you know what it is? A spy pen. So check this out. It's got a little cover here, push it down and there's a little lens there and a little microphone just here. So this is faulty. Apparently it doesn't power up. Now I bought it for 99p on eBay, so I'm not expecting much out of it. But they're only about £10 to buy brand new. What I didn't know when I ordered it is that it should also have a little cover at the bottom here, but more importantly it needs a specialised lead. I thought that might be some kind of micro HDMI, but it's not, it's too small. The cable that goes into here does three things. It charges it up, it also can output to a TV just using a little phono, a little RCA jack, and also it transfers the data onto your laptop so you can see exactly what you have recorded. You can take pictures and stuff as well by, there's different buttons down here. I believe this is like a mode button and this is a reset button or something like that, and this is the button that you turn it on and off with at the top here. Now you can tell it's a very cheap device. I mean, if you were really going to risk yourself by carrying a hidden camera, does that look anything like a pen? So the idea is it's supposed to be in your top pocket there, but look at it. I mean, is it really hard to make something look like a pen? So it's a really poor device, I think. But anyway, let's see if we can find out why it's not charging up. So obviously I haven't got the lead for it. I've had a look into it and I can't buy, well, I've had a quick look into it. I'm not going to spend days looking into it because it's a £10 item, but I can't buy the lead. I think this is called a T189, I think it was. And I typed in T189 USB cable and stuff like that. Nothing was coming up whatsoever because it's probably just as cheap to buy the whole unit itself. But that doesn't mean we can't find out what's wrong with it and we can't have a bit of fun in the meantime. Now I thought maybe you'd have to insert a micro SD card because that's what all the instructions to say to get it to work, just in case it was somehow to make the circuit, but it doesn't. When I press this button here, these lights should light up down here. So you hold it on for like 3 seconds to turn it on and nothing's happening down here. Also, because it's a cheaply made device, I cannot get my micro SD card out now, so I put it in okay, but now it's not coming out. It was just a push fit. It didn't do one of those nice click in and click outs. It just basically pressure fit in. So I'm gonna have to get tweezers in there to pull it out, but it doesn't matter because I need to take it apart anyway. So I've had a close look here now and I can see that it's already been chewed up, so I'm not sure how easy this is going to be to undo. And also it's got a bit of damage here, so I don't know whether somebody was possibly trying to pry it open. But let's take it apart and let's see if the battery's got any charge in it. Let's see if we can work out why it's not charging. So although I'm not going to be able to show you it working because I haven't got this the specialised lead, I'm hoping that I might be able to still fix it. Right, luckily that screw came out no problem at all. Here we go. Excellent. Oh well, look at that. The microphone's fallen down from up the top anyway. That should be, surely that should be up here. Yeah, it should be, shouldn't it? Look. Hold on a minute. What's going on? That microphone should be all the way up here. Why is the lead so short? Wow, that's really bad, isn't it? I don't even think, that looks like proper soldering there. That doesn't look like somebody's cut the wires down. So basically this one should be up here to be able to fit into this one here. But it's not, is it? It's about 2 centimetres or a centimetre too short. Right, okay. Saying that, it's still going to pick it up if it's down here anyway because it's going to go through the holes here. So it looks like we've got a little crystal here. Let's take our little micro SD card out, so that goes in there like so. Right, so there's no battery here. Let's undo the 2 little screws here and then open it up. Actually the circuit board itself looks nice. Let's undo these 2. Right, I can see the battery there. Is this going to come out? Yes, it is. Well, I suppose what we can do is this just going to be a 3.7 volt battery? I'm sure it is. This is probably the similar sort of ones you get in drones and stuff like that. I suppose we'll just get our leads from our multimeter and let's see if we've got any voltage in that battery. So when you look at the product from the outside, it looks absolutely awful, but when you look at that, it looks quite nice, doesn't it? So you think if they were just to spend like another £1, they could have made the outside really nice. Let's see if we've got anything coming out of the battery. No, we haven't. I wonder, could it be just as simple as the fact that it hasn't been charged up? Maybe I'm trying to think, why was it got rid of originally? You know, if surely something must have been faulty on it for it to be got rid of originally. Right now we don't know if it's just something simple, like the fact that the battery's flat and that's why it's not working. So I think I'm going to unsolder the battery, and I think I'm going to charge up this battery using my little separate little charger. I'll show you that in a minute. I haven't got it to hand. And what I'm wondering is, although this is a specialised, like, bespoke connector here, check it out, it just says USB 2, and if you actually look closely at it, there is only so many pins on it. So basically, the one on the edge here is a ground, the massive track going up here must be the positive, and then we have 2 in the middle that are soldered together that I would say are the data pins, and they're going up these ones here. So what I'm wondering is, could I unsolder this and could I actually fit, for example, a micro USB, and that way then I'll be able to connect it up to the computer, and also I would be able to then charge it up, wouldn't I, if I've got a spare micro USB line around the place, because as far as I can see there's only actually 4 tracks. We've got the ground, we've got the positive, I presume this one's the positive, and we've got 2 in the middle. Now I don't know which way the data pins are going to go in the middle, but saying that, if I was just to follow, it says USB 2, if I was just to follow the pin out for a USB, I reckon they might have put this on. I don't know why they put this on. The thing that's confusing me a bit is, how's it doing video out? Because on this one, it does have a USB port, you know, the proper cable, but it also has a little phono jack on it, like a male RCA. So how is a USB doing RCA out? What would it be on? Is it to do with the data or something? But then again, I don't really need to connect it up to a TV. That would be a nice thing because you could quickly see what videos you've taken. But you could, you're going to get to know that when you connect it up to your computer anyway. So that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking right now. So first things first, let's unsolder the battery and get charge in it, because there might be something that's not repairable on here, or I might not be able to work out the problem, in which case there's no point in messing around with the ports. But if it is just a case of a flat battery, maybe I could try and change the port over, and that would be quite interesting then. In fact, what would be even more interesting, but I don't think I would do it because this circuit board's quite fat, is I wonder if you could sort of hide this into something else. You know, not a sort of dodgy looking plastic pen. In fact, you know what, if I get my leads, this has to be a 3.7 volt battery, doesn't it? Because that looks like just a standard little lithium battery. Why don't I get my bench power supply on here and see if the thing livens up? Positive here, make sure I don't short it on anything else. There. And this is the negative. Now let's spin it over so we've got the LEDs showing. There we go, so these LEDs here should be lighting up. So let's turn it on and let's give it 3.9 volts. Right, now let's turn it on at the top and see what happens. I think you have to hold it down for about 3 seconds. Yes, there you go. Did you see that? That came on there for a second, didn't it? Let's hold it down longer. Okay, so we've got a blue light. Oh, there you go. Blue and orange. Remember, there's no SD card in it. So now let's... I'll have to read up on the instructions. Okay, well, it's definitely doing something. So let's get some charge into this battery, and then yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can swap out that USB port. And at least then, look, I'm not going to find a need to use it, but it would still be nice to see, you know, to record something and put it on the laptop. I'm just wondering why they put some weird connector on it. It seems strange, unless they just got a bulk lot of them for next to nothing and it was cheaper just to use them than a micro USB. Just seems a bit odd. Anyway, let's get some charge into this battery. This is the little board here. This is a TP4056, and the idea is you plug it into a USB power supply, so you've got 5 volts going in, and then this will safely charge up this battery here. Let's do that. Now I have to obviously connect it onto there. I don't really want to strip it back because it means less and less slack on here all the time. Let's just see, have we got, mind you, there is plenty of room for slack, but to make it easy for myself, I'm just going to use the crocodile clips from my power supply here, and then we'll just use these. So this is the positive here, so we're going to put this to the red. Well, look, now you can see that is actually on red, so when it's not charging it's on green, so that is accepting a charge in there now. So I'm just going to leave that for a while, and then hopefully that will get a charge into the battery. Now what I've got to do is try to find out what little spare USB ports I have around the place that I can take something from to use for that. So it's been about 20 minutes now, and if you check this out, it is measuring 4 volts, so it has accepted a charge. There you go. Yeah, so that's good. I'm not going to charge it up fully, because if and when I can get the USB connector on here, I want to plug in the USB to see if it's charging, so I want to leave that slightly empty. The light didn't go out here because it was still charging. So yet again, this little thing here has saved the day. You can get these off eBay for a couple of pounds. They're not expensive at all. So what I'm going to do now is, I have found a USB socket, but it's far from ideal. It's basically from the top of an Xbox One controller. It's a micro USB. Now I've been looking at the pinouts, and basically it does make sense, because we have a ground, we have a data plus, data negative, and also the plus 5 volts here, and that does marry up. So this is the plug and this is the socket. So this is the actual socket here. So basically the one on this side here will be the ground, and if you have a look, when I put that onto here, that's by the negative here, which is also the ground pin there, and the positive's over the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use hot air. I'm going to remove this, put a little bit of flux, use hot air, remove this, see exactly what we've got with the pins, and then see if there's a way that I can chop these off here and get this to sit in there, and then it will be a micro USB. Alright, let's see how we go. So the only thing I need to worry about is burning this plastic SD on the other side, but I'm hoping that should be okay. In fact, what I can do there is I can actually rest that on a bit of metal to try and take away the heat from there. There we go, that should be okay. Right, let's get some air on this. There you go, it's already off there because it's such a thin board. So you can see no damage was done to the underneath there. Right, okay, that's all the pads clean. I'm just going to give this a little clean now with IPA. It's all nice and clean now, but looking at this closely, there's too many pins here. So I thought it might be just like standard USB, but it's not. Let me zoom in and show you. So this is what I'm thinking now. This one here is going to be the plus 5, and then the one next to it is going to be the data negative. This one here, the double one. This will be data positive, and then this one would normally be blank, so it should be just one here, and then this one would be the ground. But now if you have a look, and you see we've got an extra pin here which goes down to the board here, and then from here it goes up across to here, and then from here it goes up all the way, I don't know, one of these around here somewhere, I haven't actually traced it, and comes up here. Do you know what I'm thinking? I'm hoping, I mean I could do this and I could completely blow it up, because remember, I don't really know where these things are going. I'm wondering if this is standard USB here, like I just explained, and I'm wondering if this pin here is for the video out, you know, the phono out, so it would be using this one here and the ground. So in theory, if I was to get a wire from here and put it to a phono middle plug, I wonder whether that would actually have video out. But as I say, I don't need video out. I'm not sure whether anybody would actually use the video out. So let's try and wire it up. The problem is the spacing's all wrong now as far as this is concerned here, so it's going to involve kind of bending pins and stuff. So I thought it might be just a case of laying it on and it would work, but I think the first 3 pins might just about work, possibly, but then you see the 4th pin, even the spaces there, you can see that 1, 2, 3, the 4th pin is going to be touching the 3rd one along. The 5th pin needs to be all the way over here, so I'm going to have to bend these outwards, and by bending them outwards this might be where I end up damaging it. But look, it's worth a try. I think I know what I'm going to do. So I've taken the tabs and stuff off, and you can see now it sits on it much better. So if you have a look at the positive 5 volts on this side, that's going to fit fine. Data negative, data positive will fit fine. You can see just there, they're just about hanging on in their place. But now the next pin's causing problems because it's hitting onto the data positive. But I don't need that pin, so I'm actually going to rip the pin off the USB port itself. And then you see the ground is actually lining up with the 2nd pin along, not this one. So the ground's lining up with the one that goes through the wire, so that's no good to me. But I'm thinking that the one that goes through the wire is the video out. So why don't I get a blade and cut the wire here so it's not travelling anywhere anymore, and then why don't I join up these two just as one big ground, yeah? So then, in fact I can join up all these 3 as one big ground, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? Once it's cut there, it's not going to be pushing the ground through. I think that's what I'm going to do. And if it's completely wrong, I've wasted 99p, which doesn't really matter, and I've done a little bit of learning and fun on the way. Right, okay, so I've cut through that now, which is good. So now let's get the soldering iron on, and let's try to join up. I might just try to join up all 3 here. Okay, I've done it. That was a complete and utter nightmare. That was so hard to do. And what really doesn't help is when you're trying to film, you're trying to sort of keep your head out of the camera. And all I could see with the lights bouncing off, and there's so little pins coming out, and with all the flux on, all I could see was a pool of black. That's all I could see. I couldn't see anything. So it's just pure guesswork as to what's going on. But if you have a look there now, I know it looks horrible and there's too much solder in the middle pins, but look, they are actually all separate and they're not shorting against each other. So and also the ones at the end here, can you see? It has actually joined the 2 pins together. So this was the pin I didn't want connected. So we've got plus 5 volts, ground, and we've got data minus, data positive, and then the empty pin there. So if it is how I think it is, then that should work. But remember, that one that I've cut, the wire, could be the plus 5 for all I know. I don't know, do I? I'm only guessing that this is how it is. So yeah, let me just put it to continuity. So we should have the negative here going to here. Yeah, okay. and then we've got that shouldn't be shorting with this one, which is not. That shouldn't be shorting with this one, which is not. That's fine. So what I'm going to do now is, because we haven't got any proper posts going down in here, I'm actually going to use a hot glue gun, and I'm going to put glue gun on the side bits here to just try to give it a bit of strength, because with all the pulling in and out of this, you see it could easily break. So I saw the hot glue slapped all around there. Hopefully that will give it a bit of strength. So now, before I put the battery in, I'm going to extend these wires from the microphone, because remember they were too short. Going to fold them back over that way so they're not going to short against the actual casing. So there you go. Hopefully now that will reach where it should have been originally. So now I've got to solder in the battery contacts here, and this side here is the negative and that's the positive. Is back together, so shall we plug it in and actually see whether it's going to manage to do anything or not. I'm going to keep the SD card out of it for the moment. Let's plug this in first and plug it into the power. Right, so that's in there now. Here goes, I'm about to plug it in. Is it going to do anything? Excellent, we've got a blue light. Brilliant, blue flashing light. So that must mean it's, I presume that means it's charging. I don't know. Well, I think I'm going to watch a little review on this just to see what's happening with these lights and stuff like that. Let's hit the button up the top. Well, actually, we can take this off now and hit the button on the top and see if it keeps its power. Yeah, there we go. But saying that, that doesn't mean it's going to transfer data or anything. So, yeah, I might as well put this back together now, because there's nothing more I'm going to do. If it's not going to work, I'm not going to take it any further. But it's definitely doing something that it wasn't doing before. So what I need is a new sticky pad here, because this one's gone. And then, yeah, put it back together. Do you know what? I'm quite happy with this so far. Got my Pound Shop Specials, a double-sided little tape here. So I'm just going to pop that one onto there. And that will give it a little bit of stickiness again. So that's back on there. Now I need to try and get it back in. I'm going to have to cut new ones at the bottom here, because this isn't going to fit anymore, is it? That's come out pretty good there, isn't it? Right, I've just got to widen up this because I don't want to pinch the wires as it goes into here. So that's it all back together. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read a review on it now and plug it into my computer and see if I can work out what's what, and then I'll just show you it working at the end. So I've been messing around with this now for about an hour and it is actually working. So when you're charging it, you have to take the SD card out, which is a bit of a pain, but when you're transferring the images from here onto your PC, then you just leave the SD card in and you just plug in your USB cable. This USB cable doesn't work because this is a charging only. I have to use one that's got the 4 wires connected. So for example, I'm using a PlayStation 4 controller charger because that's got data and charging pins in it. But you can see now, just with this charging one, it is charging, and apparently after 3 hours, when it's fully charged, both lights will come on, and that indicates that it's fully charged. So that port that I did must be working okay, because I can transfer the images from here onto my PC. So to get it to work, all you have to do is tap the button at the top here for a couple of seconds. Watch this now. So you hold down the top for a couple of seconds, and then the blue light will come on. Then it will flash, and then it will stay on like this. So now that's in standby, and it will stay like that for about a minute. Now when I press this, like that, that is now recording. So right now, that is recording, okay? And then to stop it, you tap that, and then the blue light comes on, so we now know that's off. And then after about a minute or so, the blue light will go off again, and then to get it back into standby, you have to tap it. So it's as simple as that. And then to turn it off fully, you hold this down for about 7 seconds, and then it will shut itself down. Just like that. Now I thought the image quality would be absolutely awful because this is just such a cheap device and it's a tiny camera here. But you can actually make out what's going on. I'm not saying it's good, but I'll show you some footage now. It is completely viewable, so if you were wanting to spy on something, it does actually do what it's supposed to do. So I'm going to end the video now showing you a little bit of footage, and then yeah, that will be it. So here's my son whiling away the hours, doing a little bit of painting. Check out that landscape. Lovely mountains. Is that the moon up there, Ben?
Yeah.
Nice little pinky purple sky. Good detail on the trees. Comes along nicely. Right, let's take this outside now and see what it's like in some daylight. And here's a little bit of scenery. Real life scenery this time. So I'll be interested to see what it looks like. I haven't brought it outside yet. Let's get it out into the sun. Right, well I think that's it for this video. I think it's been relatively interesting considering the item wasn't broken in the first place. But at least now for me it's usable. It was 99p, it didn't exactly break the bank, and fitting the micro USB was, well, it wasn't really fun, it was a bit of a nightmare if I'm honest with you. But still, it means that this thing is usable now, and just for novelty value alone, I think it's pretty fun, and also it's a lot better than I expected. And I'm sure you'll agree by looking at these images that it's probably better than you expected as well, considering how small the camera is and considering it's a £10 device. So that is it for this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe for more Trying to Fix videos. Take care. Bye now.